Join PCTechForum.net is a new site. It's a way we'll be discussing everything related to tech news. They'll be discussing the latest processors, graphic cards, laptops, hard drives, computer cases. They also have a section for pre-built PCs and custom-built PCs, and also a PC straight from the manufacturer. They also be discussing the operating systems and how to troubleshoot them. And said, last but not least, they'll also be discussing the latest games and business. The site is brand new, so people will join for the first time on there. So come and sign up today at PCTechForum.net.
Hello everyone, it's me, Demetra Kaye of the Demetra Kaye Show here on YouTube and a proud contributor of the African Diaspora News channel. If you could please do me a favor and subscribe to all channels and like this video, I would greatly appreciate it. So on a recent episode of Real Time with Bill Mahr, he discussed that on a panel of President Joe Biden and him seeking a second term in 2024, but he wasn't too excited about Vice President Kamala Harris being on that ticket. And he said this: once you have that real estate and you wake up in the White House and your office is the Oval, I just don't think you give it up. It's very hard to take away the nomination from the president, a sitting president. And so he's basically saying Joe Biden is, in power, and he's probably not going to want to give that up, even though, it seems like he's got some things going on with him, but he's probably going to seek a second term. And so, okay, that's a given. But he went on to say this about Kamala Harris: what I could see is replacing the vice president, which immediately sparked applause from his liberal audience because she's just not very popular anywhere. And it didn't seem to work out. And I don't know, that's been done before on a ticket. So he's basically saying, get rid of Vice President Kamala Harris. She's not very likable. But, he doesn't know if that's been done before. But I guess if it hasn't, it's, time for a first in replacing her, bringing someone else on. So then he goes on to say this: I just think she's a bad politician. I think she's a very bright person, but I don't know. I can see them doing that because of a lot of the problems with Biden being old-ish. Oh, if he dies, then you're going to get this person. And this person that he's speaking of, again, is Kamala Harris. And so he's basically saying if Joe Biden goes to the upper room or the lower room, depending on who you ask, Kamala is going to step into that role as the president, even though it wouldn't be the first time she was the president. Remember when Joe Biden had to go have surgery or something, and she was the first black woman president ever in history for what was like 30 seconds or something, because, the president goes out on surgery he's no longer, in the role of all that other nonsense. So anyway, I digress. So he also went on to say this toward the end: the problem for the Democratic Party is they're so boxed in by identity politics that it'd be impossible for the ticket to not have either a woman, a person of color, or a deaf Eskimo. So he's basically saying, again, because the Democrats are so, we need a first black woman for this, or we need a woman for that, or a man, or an Asian, or this or that, that they almost kind of have to have another woman on the ticket, even if that woman is not qualified. They're into the symbolism of it all, because that's how they hooked a lot of black people, by putting Kamala on the ticket. And so, he's saying that kind of, screwed themselves on that. But Van Jones, who was also on the panel, was like, well, Kamala hasn't found her footing yet. But it's like, all right, Van, enough of, they've only been in office this amount of days. It's like, come on, it's going on, year 3 at this point? And she hasn't found her footing? Whose fault is that really? So you're saying that basically we should endure her? I mean, we don't even want to endure that of Joe Biden, but we should endure her as well, even though she's not, equipped for the job. We've seen her get out there and try to speak for the nation, and didn't really work out well for her. And so they've kind of had her, waving and shaking hands with people and things like that. But she hasn't really gone out there and been vice presidential, if you will. I mean, I haven't seen her much, but I think they probably maybe keep her in the kitchen to continue mixing up, buttermilk mix for biscuits. I don't know. But Bill Mahr is very problematic for a whole lot of reasons, including using the N-word on the show once or twice, I guess. And, he appears to be a very low-key, undercover racist that sometimes says racist things. But I think he's spot on with this. I mean, Kamala does not deserve to be there. She did not deserve to be there. Just being black, so they tell us. I don't think that's a good reason for her to be on a ticket. And of course, we as black people have learned that in history, that just because they're black, Barack Obama, does not mean that they're actually going to do stuff for black people that is beneficial. So, I don't know. Bill Mahr is right on that. And that only, I would say, for the most part. But y'all tell me what you think of this. And for more insightful commentary, please subscribe to this channel and my channel, The Demetra Kaye Show, here on YouTube. Peace.
Make sure you pick up my 2 books that's in Amazon right now. The first one is Passive Aggressive Racism and the System of White Supremacy. And I talk about in that particular book how the system of white supremacy really runs and on our daily lives here in America. In our latest book, 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind, we go through those steps to try to deprogram you from the system of white supremacy. Make sure you can pick up those books on Amazon.com.